Let's talk AFL, and the man who joins us in the studio is the man who's been doing it basically through entire last year, and he's back again in 21. His name's Alex Caiafa. Alex, great to have you on board.
Thanks, George.
A number of stories have cropped up. The season still a few weeks away, and yet the stories are rolling now. It's almost like it's this escalator, and with every step there's another story. Tom Scully, what's this? He's not retired, but he stepped away from the Hawks.
Yeah, the Hawks have had a couple of little instances over the last few weeks. You know, we heard about the Jonathan Patton incident where he's had to step away, and now we've got news about Tom Scully stepping away. We're unsure what exactly the personal reasons are, but you know, you don't ever want to see an athlete leave because of personal reasons. So we wish him all the best. We hope he comes back sooner rather than later. And yeah, it's pretty big for the Hawks at the moment.
All right, we wish him the best, and the club is going to have to gather itself now to make up, because he was a big piece that they brought in from the Melbourne Demons. In fact, they didn't bring him in from the Demons, they brought him in from the Greater Western Sydney. But he was an outstanding young player at the Demons. Everyone thought he would be one of their great players they could build the whole team around. And of course, then they lost him to Sydney, to Greater Western Sydney. And of course, then it was a big coup to bring him back. Is he the player? Is he still the player he could be? That is, if he's allowed to get enough games under the belt, could he be that player that the Demons were dreaming of all those years ago?
I don't think he'll ever be that player, but he's a running machine, and he always has been a running machine, and he's never lost that. So that's something that the Hawks will miss, especially after losing Isaac Smith in the off-season. They're going to need that extra runner. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a loss for the Hawks.
Okay, speaking of losses, I understand that the AFL has made a decision about the pre-season. I said to you last week, are we going to see a bit of a formal pre-season, or will they let them just go out and do what they need to do, try and get fit and ready for the proper season when it starts later in the year? And you said to me, well, we'll know soon. We do. Well, what's the latest?
Well, we were expecting to have 2 pre-season games as per usual just before the season, but in order to prevent a lot of travel, the AFL have decided to do just the one pre-season game. So you'd assume clubs are going to set up, you know, some sort of friendly games, you know, just before the season, just to get some matches. So
COVID safe is the reason why we've gone from the scheduled 2 pre-season games to the one only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There is a lot of buzz around Icon Park, and it's not just because of the AFLW competition, which starts tonight and pits Carlton up against feared rivals Collingwood. And there's a lot of juice about that, but it's the AFLW's first game. They're expecting a solid crowd. Also, we're hearing that it'll be pay as you enter if you're an adult, so it's $10 entry, and if you're under 18 it'll be free of charge. So another test for the AFLW. I think it'll stand up, and I'm already hearing that some of the games coming up have already been sold out, which is very encouraging. Yeah,
it's huge for the AFL women to just sort of get some money pushed into it now. You know, they're starting to grow. It's not, you know, the original startup anymore. It's actually starting to get some traction now, and people are actually looking forward to going there now.
And the players are developing each and every season.
They are. And you know, speaking of, you know, big crowds, the Richmond and Brisbane game on Sunday is a sellout already. Wow. So that's huge for the league already, and we're expecting some big growth in the AFL women this year.
Now, there's another buzz that's bothering me at Icon Park, and that's about young Patrick Cripps. What am I hearing? And tell me, set me in the right space, please.
So he is set to be a free agent at the end of the 2021 season, which is huge. He's one of the biggest fish, if not arguably the biggest fish, to come out of free agency this year. But fear not, Blues fans at the moment. He's said numerous times that he wants to be the man to take Carlton from the bottom to the top, and he loves it at the Blues.
And he's not going to go to WA.
It doesn't feel like a WA situation at the moment. It feels like it's a matter of when will I sign for Carlton, not if.
Okay, all right. One other player, again, who's very much in the news, Essendon, Zack Murray.
Yeah, it's pretty big with Zack Murray. He's going to be another one of those big fish free agents that many clubs will be going after. And he hasn't come out like Cripps has and says, I want to be at Carlton and all that sort of stuff. He's actually come out and said, I want to see which direction Essendon's going in, and then I'll make my decision.
Wow, so the pressure's on the club.
The pressure
now.
is on the club to keep him now.
What about the other club that's very much in the news and seems to be in the news each and every year, and it's the way Eddie has designed it, but this is the year that Eddie's stepping away. What are we hearing about young Jamie Elliot?
Yeah, so Jamie Elliot, he was set to be a free agent at the end of this year as well, but he had a contract trigger in his contract, which allowed him to, if he triggered it, he could remain at the club for 1 more year. So he's triggered that, so he'll stay at Collingwood till at least next year.
All right. There is a bit of bad news coming out of Icon Park, and it's to do with one of our talented youngsters, Brody Kemp.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a shocking run with injury at the moment. Carlton drafted him, in the mid-round picks in 2019, and he was coming off an ACL injury, so he didn't play all of 2020 because he was going through ACL rehab. And just as they were expecting, some pretty big things start pushing him into the team a little bit, he's had a little bit of a mishap at training, and has done his ankle, and he requires surgery, and he'll be on the sidelines for around 12 weeks. So it's pretty big for the.
Which other club has suffered injuries that might affect them with the new season about to start?
Melbourne's Marty Hoare, who has actually played a fair few games for Melbourne down back and has actually been quite good. He's again had another mishap at training, and he's done his ACL, unfortunately. So he'll miss the entire 2021 season, and myself doing an ACL. Not once, but 3 times. You've
done an ACL 3 times, so you understand what that means.
It is.
How much time does it... And now he's an elite athlete. You were in competition, but you weren't at the elite level. So how long does it take for an elite athlete, with all the rehab that they have available, to actually come back?
It could be 9 months. That's the earliest.
So the season's gone?
So you'd expect the season would be gone. It'd be 9 months, but normally, if you want to take it properly, it should be 12 months.
Okay, so not likely to see him until next year.
Yeah.
All right, so all the big news, Icon Park tonight. It's Carlton, Collingwood. The former Carlton player has gone and joined the Collingwood side. So there'll be a bit of very interesting energy being expended, I dare say, in the first few minutes. Welcome back, or not so welcome back, to young Davies, is it?
Yeah, Brianna Davey. And the thing is, Brianna Davey and a lot of those Collingwood girls, Collingwood actually beat Carlton last year at Icon Park. They shut Taylor Harris down pretty comfortably, and the Blues just couldn't get anything going. But you'd expect new season, new life. Carlton have got some big recruits there. There's expected some big things from the Carlton women's team this year. There's a lot of tipped them to win the premiership, so they'll be looking to start the year with a bang.
No pressure on Daniel.
No pressure.
Come on, Daniel. Okay, and ladies, please, Icon Park tonight. That's the news for the moment. Look forward to seeing you next week on TheInformer for another episode as we get ever closer to a brand new season of the AFL Down Under. Join us if you want some more. And again, Alex Caiafa, who's been with us for the better part of the last year, and he may even have some surprise news for you next week. I believe he's coming back to talk basketball.